Hello and welcome back to the Coder's Legacy channel. In this video, we're going to explore three very important concepts in Scrapy: items, post-processing of data, and pipelines. These are three very important things that you need to know, especially when scraping complex data. When scraping very simple data, this is something that's not really needed, but once you begin scraping like more feature rich, more information rich data, such as an e-commerce website like this books to scrape website, then we begin needing more control over our data. So that's where scrapy items come in, and then sometimes we need to clean or validate or convert our data. That's where post-processing and pipelines come in. Okay, so that's what this video is going to be about. So let's begin scraping this data. All right, now as usual, I'm going to right click over here and we're going to view the HTML element. Okay, now look here, I want the name. Let's assume we want two things. I want the name and I want the price. And I want the reviews. I want these three things. Okay, let's go with three. I want these three things for each book. All right, the first thing is the name. The title, there's a title over here, A Light in the Attic, and then there's this text. I don't want this text because it's incomplete. We'll go with the title. So basically, I want in this H3 heading, we want the hyperlink's title. So how will we do this? I'll do over here. Should we open up the Scrapy shell? Okay, let's do that. Scrapy shell. Then over here, we'll do fetch. This will allow us to quickly test a few things. Okay, books to scrape. And good. So let's try response.xpath. Okay, we'll be using xpath. So h3/a, where the okay, we want the title. So we'll do slash, then @sign, then title, and then hit enter. And here we go. Let's do get all. Okay, and now we have all of the titles for all of the books. And how many are these anyway? Look to be about 20 or 30. All right, now let's go here, and now that we know this works, let's go here, paste it here, and then we'll do for book in this, because this is basically books. Or you know what, if you want to, we can just make this a bit more easier to understand. Save it like this. All right, for book in books, then we'll begin yielding our data in here. We can do yield, and then come to think of it, these are actually the titles, not the books. The books would be when we have all of the data. This is just the title. Okay, and the next thing we need is the price. The price is contained in here, and it's in here. It's in this div called product price. So let's go here and let's test this out first. Response.xpath, then we'll do / div, and where the class is equal to product underscore price. And what do we want? We want the paragraph tag in it, which has the class price color. Okay, then slash price, p, and then where class is equal to price color, price underscore color. And then what do we do now? We need the text, right? So we'll do slash text, and then we'll call it like a function, and then do get all. And great, we just got all of the prices. So we know this code is working. Let's go here and write prices is equal to this. Okay, good. Now the last thing that we need is the review. We'll right click over here, and then it's in here. There's this P over here that says star rating. Okay, now this is where something interesting comes in, because if I'm not wrong, there are two classes over here basically. There's a star rating class, and then there's a 3. Whenever you see a class attribute and there's a space in the middle, that means that there are two classes over there. In CSS, you can do that. You can apply multiple classes on the same element. And for each one of these, the class is going to be different. All of them have the star rating class, but all of them have a slightly different second class. This one has 1, and this one should have 4, etc. So how do we do this? Well, luckily there is a way. Let me come over here and let's try this out. XPath, and over here we'll say / div. Wait, not div. Let's directly go for the paragraph. Div square brackets at class is equal to what was it? Star rating. Now let's see whether this gives us what we're expecting. Get all. And it does not. I didn't screw anything up, did I? No. Okay, so just let me try out one more thing. Alright, that works. Interesting. Over here, we need to do something a bit different. Right now, we're saying class is equal to star rating. Let me remove that. Okay, but that's not the case because no paragraph out there has this class. Because when we make this comparison, we look at the classes as a whole, all the classes combined. So what we need to do instead, what we actually mean to do is contains class and this. Alright, so basically what this is saying that it should contain the star rating class. And now I think, yes, it works. Okay, but actually I don't want the children in here. What I want is the class. Okay, there we go. What I did is filter out the class. Okay, I don't want the children. These are all the children elements inside this paragraph tag. I don't want those. I want the class. Because in the class, in these strings, is also the rating from 1 to 5. So that tells us what rating it is. Now we just need to do some post-processing here, and that's where the pipeline comes in, and I'll explain that in a minute. Let me just copy paste this for now. Alright, I'll explain how we're gonna clean this data soon. Now, what we have the titles, the prices, and the reviews. Now what we're gonna do is yield this data. Now, so far we've just been yielding data normally to a dictionary in a dictionary format. That's okay and all, but what we can do is create items. We can, like, classes that we normally create in normal coding, like where we group together a bunch of values for a certain entity. So we can create Scrapy items, which are basically the same thing. Now what we're going to do is go over here to items.py. It's over here, located in this directory over here, and there's going to be this default item there already. We're just going to change the name to something more meaningful called book item. This item is going to represent a book. Now what do we have inside our book? We have a title, right? And let me just copy paste this. What else do we have? We have the rating and we have the price. These are 3 fields that we have in our books. Now there are more that we could add in later, like in stock and the image URL, but it's the same thing really. So now that we've created this book item, and let me remove that, let's go over here and then import from actually tutorial.items import book item. Now we have the book item. And one more thing that just occurred to me is that we shouldn't really have done it in this manner. There's a better way of doing this to prevent any possible issues. Let me show you. This is basically the encapsulating element under which all of these other elements are located. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for books is equal to response.xpath. Then I'm going to locate all of the articles. That's the name of this element, where the class is equal to product underscore pod. And then over here, I'm going to iterate over each one of these books over here. and change this to title. Wait. Yeah. And then over here, we'll do change this from response to book. Now, what I just did here was return an item. All right. Wait, sorry, not an item. I returned a list of books. And over here, we iterated over each one of these books. These books are basically selector elements. If I run this over here, you see that these are selector elements, and we can use XPath functions on these selector elements the same way that we do on the response object. And title, price, and review will only return one value each. So we should just change this from get all to get. The reason they return one value is because they're being executed on a single, on a single article, on a single div, where there's only one title, one price, one review, one in stock label, etc. Okay, hopefully you got that point of mine. Now, what we'll do is over here, create, or let's do it inside the loop or outside the loop. Inside or outside? I don't think it makes a difference. Let's create it over here. Book item is equal to book item. And over here, this is basically a dictionary. So we'll do this. Item title is equal to title. Book item price is equal to price. And book item review is equal to review. And I'm just going to print them out over here because I want to verify that everything went okay. Here I'm going to do Scrapy. Wait, I need to exit the shell. Now we'll do Scrapy crawl and then the name of our, spider book, then .o output.json. Let me just delete the old file and run this code. And the output should show up over here. And there's an error, okay, unfortunately. It says it does not support this. Why is that? Alright. It worked for the other ones, but not for review. That means review was something different, maybe. Okay, actually I just realized this is really dumb. This is actually rating. Okay, let's run that again. And looks okay. Looks good. Yep. Wait a second. That's the exact same one each time. Yeah. Okay. Why is that? Okay, so I figured out the problem that we were getting. Basically, we were not supposed to put a slash over here whenever we, call XPath on something other than the response object. The reason for that is a slash basically will start our XPath parsing from the very beginning of the document. So that's obviously going to return everything. But when we put a dot over here, it tells the XPath function to begin searching from the element and within that element, within the element that we called the XPath function on. So what is the book element? The book element is this article element. And over here we can observe that the article element is only, it only consists of this div, of this paragraph tag, of this h3, and this div. So it's only going to search within these four elements. It will not go outside of the article element. Get it? And it's going to do this for every article element with the class of product_pod. All right. So that's basically the difference. So whenever you're calling the XPath function on something like this, where we already extracted an object and then we're calling the XPath function again on that object, usually in 90% of cases, we need to use the dot. All right. So other than this, I think we're good. Let me just run the code and show you guys the output. Where'd it go? Oh, wait, I commented this out. And let's run this now. And here we go. Here we can see the title, the price, and the rating for every single book in this page. Pretty cool. Now again, we'll comment that out, and now we're going to yield our book item, and we need to yield them. Yeah, so we'll do this, and now this should finally show up in our output.json file. Whoa, there we go. So how many of these are there? 20. There are about 20 books on that web page. Okay, title, the price, and the rating, and the euro sign basically got converted to that. That can happen, and yeah, cool. All right, now here's where the post processing comes in, because here's the thing: this rating is kind of weird. I don't want it like that. Let's assume that I want rating on a numerical scale from 1 to 5, and I mean a literal number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't want this. So that's where processing comes in, data processing and pipelines. We're gonna go here first in the settings file, and I'm going to, oh wait, I already enabled it. This is gonna be disabled by default for you guys. So go here and then, you know, uh, enable it by uncommenting it out. And you might be wondering what this number is. This is a priority, and this is useful if you have multiple pipelines defined, like if you have 2 pipelines. Obviously the name won't be different, the name won't be same, it's going to be different. But if you have 2 pipelines and you give one of them a value of 300, one of them a value of 200, so this one is going to execute first because it has a lower number, and in this case a lower number means a higher priority, and this one is going to execute second. So that's the only purpose behind the numbers. If you only have one pipeline, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now let's go over to our pipelines.py file, and there's this default pipeline in here. Right now, okay, first I should actually explain what a pipeline is. Basically, a pipeline is a pipe, quite literally, well, visually anyway, where input data comes in, and then data is processed inside the pipeline, and then it gets sent out. And the input here is basically Scrapy. Scrapy is yielding the book item, then the book item goes from here into our pipeline, and then from there it goes into our output.json file. So this is basically an intermediate step. What we want to do is apply some processing so that whenever our item comes in from, you know, being scraped over here, we're going to do some parsing. We're going to parse this string so that we convert this basically to a numerical equivalent. Now watch. This is how we access the item. I mean the item's right here. This is the item. This is quite literally the item that we yielded over here. So we can access it in the same way. We can do what should I call this? Rating is equal to item, and then we'll do rating. Right? It's called rating, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we have the rating. And let me just print this out to, you know, be sure. And let me come back here and, okay. Now we're going to observe that the rating is printed out. See? Over here. And something looks off. Why is the, oh, okay, this is being printed out here because it's being yielded. Okay, and here are the ratings. The ratings are being printed out as well. All right. Okay, now actually let me get rid of this because this is kind of being distracting right now. Let me go over to the settings file. Then I think there's a log info setting here. Info is equal to, wait, I think it's called log level. I think this is level actually. And what this is going to do is, you know, remove a lot of these extra, yeah, all of this extra stuff. Great. So now we can see these a lot more clearly. This is the output from the pipeline. Now what we're going to do here is split this string across the space. Dot split. All right. And what this does, just to show you guys the output step by step, we're going to repeat this, and you'll notice, wait, did I screw something up? Where to go? Oh, here we go. Here's the list now. What this does, split, it returns a list. And it splits it in such a way that it splits it around the space between the two classes. So now if we do this, this is a list now, right? So if we access the second element, we basically just accessed the, you know, the class, the second class, which tells us the rating. Now what we'll do is store this in a temporary variable like this, and we'll just set up some basic code. If temp is equal to 3, or let's start from 1, okay, then item rating is equal to 1. And this is kind of redundant, but I don't really know a better way of doing it. Okay, and then over here 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then over here change this, change this, change this, and then change this. Now our goal is, let me delete this output.json file, and if everything went correctly, what should happen now is that the output.json file should have numeric values which represent the rating. Yes, good. We did it. We basically converted rating from, you know what that was, a string with 2 classes, to a numeric value. And this is more relevant data. This is actually useful data. And, it can be actually used in some other application and stuff. The string was kind of useless, honestly. So what we just did is apply data processing. Data pipelines is where all the kind of processing stuff goes. One very popular use of pipelines is conversion. Like you see this over here. This is, pounds, or is it euros? I don't know. So one thing that people do is, in pipelines, they convert the data from some currency to some other currency, like USD. So these are just the kind of things that you can do in pipelines, but I think you guys have gotten the basics. We can modify any other item here that we want to, and then return the item, which then gets saved in the output.json file. See? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and definitely do make some suggestions. We're making a lot of Scrapy content right now, so any ideas and suggestions would be appreciated.